to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and you're about to listen to a hypnosis session that is all about releasing anger in order to release chronic pain. And I was working with a client that had very severe chronic pain, lots of fatigue. It was even affecting their cognitive processes like memory, and they'd been holding on to this for a very long time. And some of it related to an incident in their past with a family member that was lying, betraying them, doing very horrible things. And even, 16 years later, they were still angry about that event. And to some extent, they were still attached to the event, to that individual, even though they weren't talking to them anymore. And that can happen as a way of still having an attachment, a connection to someone. Even if it's not a good connection, it's still a connection. And there is this quote misattributed to Buddha that anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. And it really felt like that was the case with this client, that all of this anger, all of this resentment, all of this emotional pain that they were holding in wasn't harming the person that they'd fallen out with. It was harming themselves, and it was causing a lot of emotional toxicity, to use a metaphor. This uses forgiveness, and some people feel quite rightly that they shouldn't forgive someone that has done them harm. But the point of forgiveness is not for the other person, it's for the individual. And you don't have to forgive that person. In reality, I've worked with a lot of people that have had a lot of anger at someone that may have been deceased. Now, how do you close that loop if you can't actually forgive the person in reality because they're dead? But you can certainly do it symbolically. And one of the best symbols of forgiveness is a letter. And the great thing about writing a letter is you don't have to condone the actions of anyone else in order to forgive them. In fact, you can hold them even more to account. You could say, right, this is the pain that you've caused. This is the consequences of your behavior. I don't condone what you've done. It doesn't let you off the hook, but I forgive you. And the forgiveness is really the release of all of the emotional weight and trauma connected to that event. Now, this uses a letter as a metaphor. And why I like that is there is something cathartic about getting emotions onto a page, but then it gives one level of disassociation, because if all of that release is on paper, then it means it's no longer inside you or the client that I was working with. There's a lot going on here. I think those that would benefit most are those holding on to anger, holding on to resentment, holding on to some kind of pain, and might be reluctant to forgive someone else because it lets them off the hook without realizing that they're not on the hook, you are. And once you realize that, and that forgiveness is a way of accepting and releasing what you're holding on to, things can change pretty quick. So if you can relate to any of that, you might get some value from this session. But just be aware that it was created for an individual. Some of the references were highly relevant to the client I was working with. They might not be quite right for you. So just ignore any suggestions that don't quite fit your circumstances and your situation, and just hone in on those that do. And if you do like the idea of working with me directly, there will be a link in the description and the show notes where you can schedule a completely free consultation call. We'll have a chat, and who knows, I might end up being your hypnotherapist rather than the guy that you listen to on a podcast. So for now, though, you might get some value from this session. So find a quiet, comfortable place where you won't be disturbed, relax, and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe in that feeling of calm, relaxation. And as you exhale, feel a wonderful feeling of release. You've been holding on to a lot. And just imagine every time you breathe out, you're letting a tiny bit of all that you've been holding on to be released. And as you exhale, feel that release. And then on the next inward breath, breathe in a feeling of acceptance. You can accept things that you don't like. You can accept things that aren't helpful. You might not like it that there's people in the world dying of hunger, and yet you can accept that that happens. And you can accept that wonderful things can happen too. Every day there is someone with pain that wakes up without pain. There is someone that's been holding on to hate or anger, resentment for years, and then one day lets it go. You can accept that a caterpillar can and does indeed turn into a butterfly. Therefore, you can accept that change is not just possible, it's inevitable. It's almost impossible for anything to stay exactly the same. Things change. People change. Things move on. Some people think that Einstein once said that the definition of insanity is doing the same things and expecting a different result. And I want you to think about what you've been doing for the last 12 years. What's one consistent thing you've done throughout that whole time that might be the cause of something you want to change? And it stands to reason that there's a high probability that if that one thing changes, then certain things can alleviate, be released, let go. So continue to breathe in that resourceful relaxation and continue to breathe out any feelings of stress, worry, or tension, releasing in every outward breath. And maybe your outward breath gets longer each and every time. Breathing out for longer and breathing in nice and deep. That's it. With every outward breath, the muscles in your face and around your jaw relaxes. The shoulders let go of any tension, and the whole body begins to shift out of old patterns of rigidity, high alert, and into something calmer, something steadier, something safer. And you may notice a sense of drifting, as if the mind is slowly loosening its grip on the outside world and turning inward toward a calmer place within. I want you to imagine now a small, quiet room, maybe a candlelight, or one of those lamps with just enough light, a comfortable chair, a desk, and just imagine some sheets of paper, maybe a notebook, and a pen resting beside it. This room belongs to you, a place where no one else can enter, and no one else can judge, and no one else can influence, because this is a room where you do things for yourself and not for anyone else. And as you imagine sitting down in that chair, you may feel the chair hold you, support you, sink your body into that chair as though it understands just how much emotion you've been carrying. And with every breath, you sink deeper and deeper into the calm relaxation of that chair, in that room, next to that desk with that paper, and see a pen by the paper and just know that a wonderful change is about to happen. And as you sit in that chair, you notice that the paper in front of you, it isn't for the world to see. It isn't even for an individual. And it isn't for forgiveness in the way people misunderstand that word. This is something else. This is a release, a severing of an old connection that has drained you for far too long. A way of taking your energy back, your peace back, your power back. And you can hold on to all of your truths, and you can hold on to your boundaries, and you can hold on to your clarity about right and wrong. None of that changes. Because this person you've been thinking about, you are not letting them off the hook. You are letting yourself off the hook of carrying pain that was meant to be temporary and belonged to the past. If your unconscious agrees, let me know by nodding your head. And when you're ready, imagine your hand lifting the pen and writing the very first words. This is not for you. This is for me. And I want you to imagine the hand moves, the pen writes, and you don't have to know what's being written, but just feel that you are writing truth. You are releasing emotion with every letter and every word. Share the pain that you felt, sorrow, grief, anger. Write it all down. Things that have been real that you've kept inside. And you don't have to dilute anything. You don't have to excuse anything. You don't have to approve of anything. But maybe you write words like, I'm done carrying the weight of what you did. I want you to get a sense that holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to get sick or die. All of this anger didn't punish him. it punished you. And you deserve better than that. And as you imagine your hand continuing writing whatever comes to mind, maybe you imagine words like, I release the anger because I won't let it injure me anymore. And I release the resentment because it keeps me tied to a moment that is long since gone. I release the hurt because I am ready to heal. You are free to carry your own consequences, but I no longer consent in my suffering. Write whatever comes up for you. First in the mind, then in reality. And with every sentence, you may feel something shifting. Maybe it's a sensation that comes up, a feeling, a tightness that releases. A quiet unraveling of tight knots deep inside. And you are not forgiving the past. You are extracting yourself from it. You are not excusing anything. You are reclaiming your life force. This anger has been like a parasite, draining your energy, draining your cognitive facilities, giving you pain as a side effect. And as you write the letter, you are freeing yourself from the parasite of anger. I want you to get a sense that they were never on the hook. So you're not letting them off the hook. You are stepping off their hook. It's you that was hooked, and you are detaching yourself from the hook. I want you to imagine a sharp hook, the kind of hook you use to catch fish. And imagine it there, maybe in your jaw, your tongue, your mouth. All of that pain in your mouth was the hook attached to you. And just imagine, as you continue to write, that the hook is detaching from you, especially around your mouth, so you can live freely again, no longer attached, no longer connected. And now notice where in your body that old anger or resentment used to live. For some people, it's the jaw, the chest, the throat, the stomach. And as your mind writes the words on the page, your body writes its own message. Imagine releasing tension from those places. As you imagine writing, certain sensations change. Tension turns to relaxation. Tightness softens. Contractions or restrictions open. Feels maybe like you're letting movement return to what once felt frozen. Feel the exhale flow through these places, as if each breath is sweeping out the old debris of a story that no longer needs to live inside you. This is your body and your nervous system unhooking itself from the trauma of the past. And when the letter is finished, you place the pen down and let me know by nodding your head. As you read the words, not as a message to them, but as a message to yourself. Maybe you read words like, I choose my healing over my anger. I choose my peace over my pain. I choose my future over the past. Maybe see certain words connected to feelings that aren't in you anymore, they're on the page. And then you fold the letter. And you don't need to send it. You don't even need to share it. You simply take the folded paper and place it into a box in that quiet room. A box that seals itself. When something no longer belongs inside you, your pain, your trauma is no longer in you. It's in the letter, in the box, and that box is sealed. As the lid closes, the emotional tether that once held you so tightly releases, dissolves, disconnects. You are not the same person who went into that room. Imagine leaving the room, walking out, like a weight has been lifted off your shoulders, like a tightness has been opened, like your body and your mind has permission to rejuvenate, to heal. If a fish was tethered to a hook for weeks or months, the healing can't take place while the hook is inside them. Only when the hook is released can the healing truly begin. If your unconscious can reach a point of forgiveness, not for them but for you, real forgiveness, then the clue is that that anger inside turns to something else. Maybe acceptance, maybe compassion, or maybe just understanding. But no longer anger, because anger is the poison that's been harming you. Imagine leaving the room and returning to your physical body, but get a sense that the anger is missing now. It's in that letter, in that box, and has evolved into forgiveness. Very soon, I will count from 1 to 10, and you will return to the here and the now, taking back a wonderful sense of freedom with you. So take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Connect and calibrate into the here and the now. As I now count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode of The Hypnotist. If you've enjoyed this episode or got some value from it, please give it a 5-star rating and review. And maybe you know someone that would also benefit from this particular episode, in which case share the episode with them so they can also get the benefit too. And if you would like to listen to this episode where it's just the hypnosis, so no intro, no outro, no explanation, just the hypnosis and completely ad-free, there will be a link in the description where you can subscribe at a very low cost and only get access to the hypnosis. So if that's of interest, please check that out. Thank you again for being a regular listener of The Hypnotist, and I'll see you again soon for more.